Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Diane's been working with buyers and sellers in the Missoula market for over 25 years and shares her insights on the local housing market. Along with her trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction and brings us guests who provide useful information on industry-related topics and trends. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk, KGVO. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our, of course, abbreviated Spring Forward weekend here on Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck. And a guest that we had on, gosh, I don't know, I think you were on, Stephanie, about 7-8 months ago there. Stephanie Silvan, co-owner of Caring Transitions. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We were still doing everything via phone back then, so it's nice to have you in the studio here. And let's just go ahead with the get acquainted or get reacquainted. Tell us what all is involved, what all Caring Transitions offers.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me, Denny.
Yes, you bet.
So Caring Transitions helps people downsize. We help downsize by packing, space planning, moving people, resettling them, liquidating their unwanted or unused items through an estate sale or online auction. And then we do full house cleanouts. What
is your background? What brought you into this profession? How did you come to get on board with Caring Transitions?
So it's been over 3 years now. That went by in a blink of an eye. So my father-in-law, Mike Ficani, is the co-owner. He actually approached me and was talking about starting a franchise. So we're nationwide, over 250 offices now, growing every day. And I wanted to help people. I have a passion for people, specifically seniors, dealing with life's transitions. And so he asked me to be co-owner, and I came aboard. And it's been great ever since.
Yeah, and you've got a fairly new program. We're going to talk about a bit later in the show on how listeners can help out by sending cards and showing their support and things like that. So we're looking forward to hearing about that. And you are on a real estate show, of course, sponsored by Diane Beck. Your relationship with realtors, where might the two professions intersect?
So we work with realtors all of the time.
Okay.
So someone needs to get their house on the market, but they're a hoarder or they're cluttered. We can come in and help them declutter and get their house ready for the market. So that helps realtors and their clients out. Also, when the house is under contract and they need to move and close, we can come in and help them pack and move, sell the things that they don't want to take with them, and then do a full house clean out. We also sweep and get it ready for the new owners to come in.
I imagine the decluttering process that can be kind of an emotional deal, can't it? When you're you're not telling, you're not dictating to your clients, but you're suggesting you don't need these things.
Yes.
And now you're walking the sentimental value tightrope.
You know, a lot of our clients are seniors and they've been in their home for 20 plus years.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Oh,
and
no
so
doubt.
To tell someone that we're not going to take that antique china hutch, that's tough, right?
Sure.
So one of the things that we do is all of our employees have a passion to help people. I can train you to pack a box, but I can't train you to have passion. So, we really take care of our clients in that process of just sitting down and saying, look, this is the square footage we're moving into. You can't take that. Let's talk about it. Let's take a picture. And I think the big thing is just because you can't take it with you, you still have the memories. And that's one of the things we talk about to our clients. So that's really, that conversation is important and something that we do on almost all of our projects.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. And our guest, Stephanie Silvan, co-owner of Caring Transitions here in Missoula. Stephanie, you offer so many services. Let's go ahead and start with senior transitions, since we've been talking about that. A difficult word for elderly folks, of course, who don't understand why maybe they have to relocate or just don't want to. Some of the biggest challenges you face when somebody hires you for that service.
So there's a lot of challenges, and I think that's one thing of why Mike and I offer a free consultation, and we'll walk you through the process. We come, we take a look at what you have in your house, what the ultimate goal is. Are we decluttering to put your house on the market? Are we packing? Are we moving? Are we going to resettle to get you to a better place? Whether that's because you have a disability, you've lost a death of a loved one. Why are we moving? And understand all of that. It's not just a job for us. It's a life transition, right? Caring transitions, the whole point of that. And so we kind of guide you through that process because it is very difficult and it is emotion. There's kids involved. There's no kids involved. There's family. There's pets involved. And so really having that conversation about what does it look like and how we can guide you through, because most people, they do this one time in their life. Right. And so for us to be able to kind of guide them through that, I think is really important. Yeah.
And, to that point, you probably work with kids a lot. And by kids, I don't mean, teens and 20 somethings. You're dealing with folks with elderly parents. And if an elderly parent, it can be an emotional process, obviously. Is it difficult not to get caught up in that and do your best to stay on task for a family?
It is. So my clients I treat them like family. So it is very difficult. And it's the adult children you're kind of talking about of like, that's their parents. And so I kind of relate. So yes, we have to make sure that ultimately what's our goal and stay on task to that goal. But these are people just like my grandma, just like my mom. And so that connection is always difficult. I'm sad when it ends.
And if an elderly parent does have to, be moved into a personal care facility, you offer recommendations to the family based on your experience and what the person's needs and interests might be, right?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of senior communities throughout Missoula, the Valley, up in Whitefish. So we can have that conversation of what that looks like. Do you need a 1-bedroom, a studio? We space plan. What should you take? We don't need a king bed anymore. We can do 1 nightstand instead of 2 nightstands. Let's get a smaller bistro set. Let's get a smaller couch. So we can walk you through that and make it feel like home still.
I don't think I confused anybody, but just to be clear, Caring Transitions, you're not a facility.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I implied that. I just wanted to make sure that our listeners understood that, is that we're not trying to get you all to move into into the Caring Transitions care facility, because that's not what you do. Right. You are you're kind of a spokesman of recommendations and all of that for gosh, it sounds like a lot of them. A lot of the seniors, again, they're only doing this their first time, maybe second time as an adult children. And so it's about education. So we're not just movers. We're not just an estate sale, and we're not just clean out. We are a total solution for your life's transition. And so we can assist with that. We have a lot of partners in the area that we know and can kind of give you that direction, because there's not a lot of out there, just information for people. Right. And you do a lot of work in the greater Missoula area, Kalispell area as well. How do you feel about the availability of suitable facilities for folks who really just they can't go it alone anymore? They're facing that transition, right? Are the Missoula and Flathead areas strong for that, or do you see room where you'd like to see some improvement? Well, there's definitely room for growth. I think that the communities, there's some availability. Again, you can call me. We can talk about it. I can give you some contact information for them, because we all work as a team in the senior industry, because it's a tough transition for anybody. And so give me a call. We can talk about it, and I can give you some contacts for that too. I want to get back to the education part a little bit, because obviously, my guest, by the way, this is Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Stephanie Silvan, the co-owner of Caring Transitions, and so much involved in that, Stephanie, including oftentimes the downsizing. Mm-hmm. What are the typical steps to the services you can offer? A client has chosen a place for a relative, maybe a child has found a place for mom and or dad to relocate. What can you provide in the downsizing process that hopefully makes that go a little more smoothly? It's pretty scary when typically you're in a 3,000 square foot house, you're going to downsize to a 1,500 square foot condo or an assisted living community, and you don't know what to take and what not to take. So we have some pamphlets and guides so you can go through your stuff and decide what to take. We can also help you one-on-one go through those. The other thing we do is space planning. So what truly can fit and what's needed versus all of your wants in your house. So we walk you through that process. We actually pack your boxes. We move you. We then come back to your older home and sell the unwanted items that you no longer need and do a full house clean out. So it's ready to be sold and you can move on to your next chapter. And this is something I mentioned near the top of the show that I want you to talk about. I think this is just wonderful. In fact, I can't wait to get this information on our social media sites here at the radio stations. But I would like you to talk about this Joy for Seniors program that you offer.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. Yeah. So this last year has been difficult for many of us,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
Specifically our seniors. My grandma actually lives in the Village, senior resident in Missoula, and I can't see her. I haven't seen her for almost a year now. Oh, and so seniors are really, really lonely. They're not able to see their family. So my mother-in-law and I came up with this idea to make cards for seniors. So once a month, we pick a community in Western Montana. We know how many residents they have, and then we're asking our community to make cards or letters to send to us, and then we deliver them to the seniors. And it just makes so much joy for them. They smile. They know someone else cares about them, whether it's a little kid or an adult.
Yeah.
Some kind of message for them.
Yeah. And we can all use that in our lives, of course. That's
100%.
When you say a community, do you mean like a specific facility?
Yes. So every facility, every community. So last month we did the Auberge, Missoula Valley. For March, we're doing the Village. And we'll do all of the Missoula ones, and then also up in Kalispell and Whitefish down through Darby. We have a lot of communities where seniors are living at, facilities, communities. And so those are the ones we're talking about.
Yeah. And so much diversity in those, isn't there? Some
Yes.
some of them are just very small, private home type setups. Others are, quite a bit larger, like some of the better known ones. So let's say in Missoula, but you've got you must have just an awful lot of a variety of different types of facilities that you have to get acquainted with. You have to know them because you can't recommend it if you don't. And so there's probably a lot to learn there, I would imagine, in your business.
Yes, they're all different. Some of them are assisted living, independent living, memory care. Like you were saying, the smaller homes that only have 5 or 6 bedrooms, but it's more like, living with your family. So yes, there's a lot. We know all of them, do they provide bed sheets, towel sheets, or nothing, and you have to bring everything? Do we have to hook up your cable, or do they? So we find out all of those details so you don't have to.
Now, assisting with senior citizen, senior relocation, that's what we've been talking about mostly here, but it's really only a part of what you do. People of all ages may have to make transitions because of a job, a divorce, sadly, other reasons. They contact you and say, help me with everything that's involved with the move. I imagine your attention to detail becomes very important because there are just a lot of little details in that people probably just don't think about.
Yes. Well, most people hate moving. I don't know about you, but so you've got to have a plan. So we are very strategic in what we do in our process. So yeah, if you have to move because of a new job, a divorce, you're coming into Montana or out of Montana into a home, we can walk you through that. Our team of employees work together. Typically 3 to 4 people are coming to a project, and so they work together. So it's not just you. It's not just one person trying to get through a whole house full of stuff. We deal with everything in the house. We ship things. We shred things. We dispose of things. We donate things. We sell things. So anything that's not connected to the house, we deal with.
Is that a fairly typical customer contact for you? Is that just sort of stuff that goes on every single day at Caring Transitions? Every
single day. There's multiple levels to every project. So the one great thing I love is everything's a la carte. So if you just need us to move you, if you just want us to pack you, just do an online auction for you that's nationwide, or just do a full clean out. Someone hasn't lived in that house for 5 years, but you're ready to put it on the market. Call us and we can walk you through that process.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. We sure appreciate you joining us. And Stephanie Silvan, co-owner of Caring Transitions here in Missoula, is our guest. Decluttering, Stephanie. Most of us could use a good declutter. What are you looking for when you enter a home that helps you recognize what really needs to be removed, what could possibly just be better stored, things like that?
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to organization, right? So I'm a type A person. I have everything in a slot, right? Even my refrigerator, my pantry. But a lot of people don't live like that. You've got things in the bottom of your closet. You've got towels not on the right shelf for your linen closet. So we can come in and actually declutter that so your house looks bigger. Putting your house on the market is a big deal. You want it to be the best it can be when the realtor comes in and takes those pictures. So we can come in and just kind of tidy everything up and organize things into bins, into boxes, We can take things out of the home and donate them if you no longer need them, and get your house just spruced up a little bit, specifically going into spring. A lot of people, that spring cleaning. So that's part of the declutter process that we can do for you.
Another service I would like you to talk about, estate sales and online auction services, all of that you can offer at Caring Transitions.
So it's a lot. So we actually have an online auction going on right now. It's ctbids.com. It's nationwide. So it's a separate website from Caring Transitions of Western Montana. So it's ctbids.com. And it's an online auction. It's very similar to eBay. Everything starts at $1 and you just bid it up to what it goes to. That's kind of the fair market value. The great thing about the auction is people are not in your house. You're not having 100 people come for an estate sale.
Yeah, exactly.
When people come to pick up their item, it's already paid for. It's ready to go. Caring Transitions is there for the pickup. We're the ones that are in your house. We organized everything for your auction, and now it's already sold and it's leaving your home.
How has that been received? I bet it's interesting to kind of watch the goings-on of an online.
It's thrilling, especially the last couple of hours. Yes, most things double or triple the last 2 hours of an auction. Sure. But it's just a great way for us to help people liquidate the items they no longer need or want, And through this pandemic this last year, again, the auction is kind of the way to go. You're not having a bunch of people in your house. Even the small things can be shipped nationwide. So you're not just dealing with the local market, you're dealing with the United States, even the entire world. We had a great camera auction last year, over 100 pieces of camera equipment. And people from New Zealand bought it, and we shipped them a lot. So we'll take care of the shipping. We take care of all of the details. We just need to know what you want to sell.
What about the pricing? Is that on Caring Transitions to kind of make recommendations? I got to believe that a lot of your clients, right or wrong, because again, the sentimental value thing might start coming in there, and no, it's worth this, it's worth as far as the pricing, because you don't want it to be ridiculous, because then it's not going to sell. But then what's the definition of that, and how does all of that work? I mean, all you can do is recommend, I assume. If a customer says, no, we're not going to sell it for that. I want
Yeah, so that's what happens in a estate sale, right? So you have an antique dresser that you're looking to get $1,000 for, but that's not really going to sell in the Missoula market. Whereas the CT bids, everything starts at $1 and gets bid up to what the actual fair market value is. So the great thing about auctions is we don't set the price. The buyer set the price. So we have that conversation during the consult and during the contract signing of what we're looking to get out. What's the objective of the auction, right? And then we'll recommend, should we do an estate sale and price everything? Or should we do an online auction and let it go at the fair market value price? So that's the difference with us between an estate sale company and Caring Transitions, is we want to help you through that process and decide what's best.
Well, I suppose even in the auction process, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but if what looks like a final bid has come in and the seller is not happy with that, do they reserve the right to say, no, we're taking it off the auction? Or
So they don't. So once we decide on selling an item, then it's confirmed that it's going to go at what the fair market value has said, unless you put a reserve on it. But I strongly suggest not putting reserves, because ultimately our goal is to liquidate those items so you can move on to the next chapter of your life.
All right. I want to talk about some of your team here in a second on Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Stephanie Silvan. Stephanie is co-owner of Caring Transitions here in Missoula. Want to thank some of Diane's marketing partners that help bring you the show every weekend on News Talk KGVO. Rob Fleming with Man Mortgage, Miles Link of Opportunity Bank of Montana, and Carol Blodgett with MakeItMissoula.com. And our Becktacular listing of the week from Diane Beck, 17605 Calamity Lane in Huson. Yeah, it's still on the market. Incredible views, lots of privacy and seclusion. Montana dream home, owner, builder, built for the family. Lots of bells and whistles, everything on one level. And open concept, you got a split plan. You got the master on one side with private access to a deck, and the other 3 bedrooms on the other side. vaulted ceilings throughout, just all sorts of really cool amenities. And it's on 20 acres, 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, 2,892 square feet, 17605 Calamity Lane. If you'd like to know more, you can contact Diane Beck at the Windermere office on South Reserve or get more information at her website. That's move2missoula.com. Move, the number 2, Missoula.com. Back to Stephanie Silvan of Caring Transitions here on Missoula Real Estate Today. And Stephanie, the Caring Transitions team, what are all the duties for which your staff is responsible?
Wow. So we have a great staff. We have a team in the Missoula Bitterroot Valley, and then we also have a separate team up in the Kalispell Whitefish area. So our team is broken up into a couple different teams. So we have a relocation team where they are packing, moving, and unpacking, the resettling. We have, and they're also part of the clean out. They come out and completely clean out the house. Nice. Disbursement to donation, landfill, recycle, shredding, the shipping. That's the relocation team. Then we have the liquidation team. They come in and they sort and organize and decide with the client what's going to be sold, what's not going to be sold, what items should be paired together. So on the online auction, we're not just going to sell one cup. We're going to put a couple cups together in a plate to make what's called a lot. So they come in, sort and organize the entire house and decide what's going to sell. And then they're there for the pickup day. They take care of all of the buyers that have purchased items and get it out of your home so it's clean 100%.
All right. Turnaround time for some of the services obviously depends on the size of a job, but what kind of time does a typical job consume from start to finish?
Yeah, so I've talked to a few clients in the last 6 months, and they said if they were to do it themselves, it would probably take 6 months to 9 months, right? Because you're doing it on the weekends, and when you're not working or have your own family, it's a lot to do. Our turnaround time, again, every project is different. That's why we offer the free consultation. Typically, turnaround is 1 to 5 days. So we can get it done in a week. And sometimes that surprises people. But again, we're bringing 3 to 4 people into the home. We have a plan. We know what works. We're efficient. And we do it in stages. So we're not coming in unorganized. So that's really important. So typically 1 to 5 days, business days. What does that look like? We break it down. We have that conversation of what it's going to look like for you. So you're clear on what's going to happen.
I think that's a great presentation, too, to present to your potential customers when you put it into that. How much time is this going to take you perspective compared to what we could do at Caring Transitions in a matter of a few days? And you start thinking about that as, oh, my God, yeah, I'm giving up every weekend, every evening for the next, I don't know how many weeks or months.
It's a lot, specifically when you're going to get a house on the market, right? You're like, I'm going to go over to mom's house and I'm going to start cleaning and start, taking things to the landfill and donating and sorting through. And then that sentimental value, right? And if all the emotions come up. So we can come in and boom, 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 and get it all done. We set the family stuff aside so you can go through those items. But again, we're coming through as a team to complete the project versus one person. Do you ever look at, and I'm not implying that you get distracted and it slows you down, but when you're looking through some of these items, do you ever, look at something, an object or whatever, maybe it's too big to hold in your hands, you're just looking at it and you just start to think about, I would really like to know the history. All the time. This. Every home, every family has a story. Just kind of stop you in your tracks for a minute and you want to know. Yes. Yearbooks, we found that there was 5 siblings and what's the relationship with the siblings, and because they're family, right? These are all people in our community. You're not being nosy. I mean, but you just can't help but wonder sometimes when you look at some beautiful item, maybe something that is obviously, I don't know, decades, if not a century or more old, and you want to, if you can, find somebody and ask them, what is the background to this? Yeah, 100%. We do that quite a bit. And our clients love to tell their stories, right? Yeah. Which me and my team love that as well, is building that relationship. So it's not just a number for us. It's truly a passion to help these people. And by them telling us their story, it's letting it out. It's letting it go to the next chapter. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of what popped in my head when I thought to ask that question. Well, you've been on the show before, so you know that, by the way, this is Stephanie Silvan, co-owner of Caring Transitions on Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. I always like to ask you about success story or stories, if you'd like, any jobs done that you found especially rewarding at Caring Transitions. Wow. Yes, a lot of stories because it goes back to what you were talking about, that sentimental connection and what we find in people's homes. We just did a big project, and it was an inventory with an estate attorney. And again, I think the success for us is to getting that client to the next stage, the next chapter in their life. Sure. So for us to be able to do that for the client, that was a huge success. To get the inventory done, get the liquidation done, and clean out the home so they can close the estate and just move on. I mean, life is stressful right now. And so if we can help de-stress people, that's a huge win for us. So that was a big win a couple months ago for us.
When we talked before we came on the air, I was not going to ask you this question, but since we still have a couple minutes here, if I may, what ways has the whole process been more challenging during a pandemic the last 12 months? You did mention, for instance, you did not get to see a relative, say, for a year and things like that. But as far as you trying to do your job and reaching out and helping people, what are some of the challenges you've been running into?
I would say the biggest one is pivoting how to do consultations, right? A lot of people didn't want us in their home, but they still needed to move. It was an emergency move or an urgent move. So learning how to do Zoom calls with our seniors, learning how to get into communities, again, Zoom calls, that was a big challenge. Presenting a contract, with the technology, and making sure that our staff is safe and healthy, right? And the sanitation steps that we had to take. But I think as a business owner, you pivot and you figure out what works. And as we're a franchise, we have other owners that have helped us through that and kind of different challenges. So that was probably the biggest challenge, is the Zoom.
And since we're near the end of the show, I do want to back up and have you mention the whole Joy for Seniors program, because somebody might have missed it early in the show. And I think we have a lot of people out here that might like to participate in that.
I would love that. So Joy for Seniors is we're making cards every single month for seniors that can't have their family come in and see them. So this month we need 93 cards for the village residents. So if you want to just send them to our P.O. Box 1046 in Stevensville, Montana, 59870, we will then deliver them to them. So any kind of cards. St. Patrick's Day's coming up, but just a smile or a flower on a card, thinking of you card, crafts with your kids. We would love for you to send them to us to bring joy, a smile to a senior.
Okay. So any card you'd like to make, or I assume store-bought cards, are more than welcome.
Absolutely.
All right. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Stephanie Silvan of Caring Transitions. The whole contact information thing, Stephanie, if somebody would like to find out more about all that you can offer, what's the process? What's the best way to go about doing all of that?
So the best way is just to call my cell phone. You'll get me directly, 406-369-8000.
Okay.
Or you can go to our website, caringmt.com. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram, Caring Transitions of Western Montana.
You've been a great guest. I'm glad you came back on the show.
Thanks. It's good to see you in person.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Email dianebeck@windermere.com, or for a complete directory of Diane's listings, visit move2missoula.com. That's move2missoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.